Yo, and welcome back to the Banter Boys podcast. My name is Sanjay. With me is Kyle and Ryan. How you doing, boys?
Not bad. Champions League is back. I don't know anything about that as a United fan, but I hear it's a good competition.
Yeah, but fantasy sucks though.
Yeah, UCL fantasy is the worst.
Yeah, I don't.
When you try to be different, it just does not. It's like pain all over.
I don't play UCL fantasy. You see, I'm like United. If United's not in UCL, I'm not playing UCL fantasy, man.
True. Now Ryan went the complete opposite with that. Milan's back in the in Champions League, so he captained a Milan player,
a defender.
Wow, that's wild. Game week 1, match day 1, and you just gone wilding already, yeah?
Yeah, at least my forward got an assist. So
yeah, man. Champions League is back, but we don't need to talk about it too long, considering how we shut the bed.
That's definitely not.
I mean,
Chelsea did what I expected.
I was gonna say I could do the Kunde hand on my face. Oh, I almost joined them.
Oh, that bitch. Is that actually real?
It is real.
I'm sure it is.
It is real.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I thought Achim just took that photo, like photoshopped it.
No, it was all over Twitter. All over Twitter.
Wow. Okay, I can't wait to meet Barca in the Europa League when we get relegated. Anyways, the reason I did want to kind of touch on Champions League is we kind of got to see the trio of Auba, Havertz, Sterling. You know, I'm sure lots of leagues have been dropping special amounts of fab on Aubameyang. I've heard him go for as low as $35, and I mean as high as 104 in our league.
Yeah, that was madness.
Wild.
Madness.
I feel like I should bust some files and talk about the backroom dealings that are happening.
I mean, we are the banter boys, right?
Somebody dropped 104 and immediately is trying to dump them onto me. So,
Yo,
I don't know.
Not just you. I saw an X trade where he was trying to get someone else, Saka, I think, for Auba and another player.
Yeah, honestly. I mean, I'd say the last offer I got wasn't the worst, so... I mean, we got straight into the banter. We didn't even plug the socials or anything. Like,
oh yeah, okay. Let's do some business before we get into banter then. Right. Since Ross is not here, I'm gonna plug his beautiful voice so you guys know what to do. So I'm gonna do that right here.
Yeah, for sure. So you can message us on Twitter and Instagram. Our handles at BanterB. On Discord in the Draft PL channel, Banter Boys #6585. On Reddit, /banter_boys. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, SoundCloud, and YouTube, all under the name of Banter Boys.
All right. So if this is your first time listening to the Banter Boys podcast, welcome. We cover everything Fantrax related. So we're back to our regular formats. So we have 2 halves. In the first half, we do a bit of a data dump. Then we catch up in our leagues, but mostly just kind of talking about moves and tactics and just, concerns that maybe other managers have in their leagues, right? Then we take our halftime pint and we'll run through some Twitter questions, stuff that we got in our DMs across various platforms, Discord, etc. And then we run things off with FA/Waiver Picks. But yeah, back to the banter, because that's usually how we like to kick things off. What's this Aubameyang Saka deal, Kyle?
I don't know what the Saka deal. I just know that there was negotiations that centered around Diogo Dalot. Everybody was trying to get Diogo Dalot. Some people were walking back on their offerings. Looking at you.
Oh, that's me.
At you.
But yeah. You should call me out. Call me out.
I don't know how this person starts with, oh, you want to include another player? And how much would that cost? And then 2 minutes later, okay, no. The deal that we kind of were constructing this around doesn't exist anymore. It's like we started at Madison and somehow like it shifted to Ericsson plus less money than when Madison was in the deal. I don't even understand this.
Yeah, I think our original verbal agreement offer was I think Madison plus 25 fab for Romero and Dallo.
Yeah.
And then I just had a good long think about it, and I dug through the history of the game and, you know, where Madison was, and considered the real life situation of how shit Leicester was, and it can only get better from here. Listen to a few podcasts, and I mean, Leicester fans are extremely high on Madison. If they're gonna do anything positive, it will come through Madison, and they've got a good run of fixtures, I think, coming up around the corner now. Let me look at that real quick. I think Aston Villa at home, Spurs away, but then you've got a bit of a good run. Nottingham Forest, Bournemouth, Crystal Palace, Leeds. So, I mean, for a player that is constantly in the top 40 overall, like in the last 4 seasons, I felt like maybe I was being too rash with my decision of wanting to get rid of one of my 20 midfielders. So yeah, I thought maybe let me pull on the heartstrings of a Manchester United fan and throw Eriksen instead.
There was no heartstrings to pull, man. This was just negotiating in bad faith. As somebody who thought about the fact that it was a buy low candidate, I mean, I set the bar a little bit high at the fab offering, but then for it to shift from Madison to Eriksen, and then somehow the number dropped from like 25 to 15, I don't get this tactic of trading. So that was not the deal that we ended up landing on. We could talk through that one a little bit, but not to skip over Auba where we started. But the Auba deal that I got, the last one, was Auba and not Fabian Schär and William Saliba, sorry, for Diogo Dalot and Pascal Struijk. I countered by taking out Saliba and putting in Fabian Schär. So that's the current outstanding offer to this manager if he wants to take it or leave it.
Wait. So Schär and Struijk
Schär and Auba
No.
for Struijk and Dalot.
That's not bad at all.
See, I think the reason I'm hesitant is because he spent 104 fab on Aubameyang, and for some reason in my head I'm like, is Auba that good of a player? Because I remember him being like absolute shit.
I feel like 2 years ago he was a good player. I was looking this up. I think 2 years ago he was a good player.
Yeah, but he was getting consistent returns.
Exactly. He was getting goals. There's no ghosties in him. It's all goals.
Yeah, there's no ghosts.
Yeah.
So from that perspective, if you expect him to bang in and be on the end of balls from Havertz, Sterling, Mount, then yes, I guess. I mean, we skipped over the fact that the week before Anthony was released into the player pool and went for 90 in our league, right? So,
and that's only because you took 10 fab
from the other guy, yeah. So
he would have probably spent all
he would have
of it.
spent 100 to get him. So I mean, at that point, you're saying, hey, if you have 100 fab or 100 plus fab, would you dump it on any of these new strikers that have come into the league, right? So there's been Anthony and Auba, Isak, who else? Who's the Wolves forward? Portuguese one.
Guedes?
Yeah. Were those the only big name forwards that came in, I guess? Or high expectation forwards?
I think so. Like in terms of like the amount of money that was spent.
Yeah.
I think that was the biggest ones.
Yeah, I think so.
Isn't there a way to like
already
arrange
have
your transaction
I already
history?
have it.
Oh, see, Kyle is fantastic, man.
But the problem is that I can't actually use it right now. Terrible internet access. But yeah, I think the biggest ones so far in our league were Auba, Anthony at 90, Casemiro went for 44, Isak 45.
Oh yeah,
Nunes.
Paqueta went for 35. You said.
Which one? Sorry, Paqueta.
Yeah,
Paqueta went for 35.
35.
Nunes went for 36. I think those are the biggest ones. And then Bernardo Silva, who was
26.
rumored to leave, and he got dropped and went for 26. Damsgaard for 20.
That was probably the best money
Spent
for value.
Yeah.
Bargain,
Damsgaard
yeah.
for 21, and
Oof.
everybody. And then Aronson
Feels
for
perfect.
17. So
Yeah, that don't remind me.
yeah. So the majority of the big money fab that's being spent have been for new players entering the waiver, the player pool, and then a couple big spenders on relatively big name players that were dropped.
Yeah. How much did you guys spend on Auba or try to get Auba for, Kyle?
The Auba bids, I think it was 50, 45, or 46. So
How much did you bid?
I bid 46.
46. Ryan, how much did you
I
bid?
think I bid either 17 or 26.
Nice. I bid $1.
I know.
Yeah,
I
we
saw.
know. We know.
So I think I originally had it at 7. Oh no, I left it at 17.
Yeah, you were
I was like,
17.
17 is fine.
Yeah, the bids were 17, 23, 25, 1, 50, 46, and 104. So this guy technically outspent by $54.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he did that with Bernardo Silva as well. Like, pretty much overspent like over 20 or whatever. But yeah, having that option of seeing deleted transactions, trades, all that is real dramatic. Like,
But that's how it should be, right?
Like-
I mean, behind the
Yeah.
scenes, if you
Yeah.
were like me, you would have already tracked and known people's bidding patterns. So I kind of knew where people tend to bid, and I don't think it's as useful right now, but at least there is some element of history to go off of for the next window when it opens.
yeah, like it's crazy. I went from being one of the managers with the lowest fab to having more than half the league now. It's crazy.
Yeah.
People are just spending recklessly, man. And it's only 6 game weeks into the season. Like,
Yeah,
Jan
soon
window
enough.
is gonna be fun.
Yeah, January is going to be fun, and then soon enough, waiver
Yeah.
or tiebreak priority or whatever will be interesting as well, right? So, I mean, if we look at the first 5-6 weeks, I feel like we had more trades than we had last season. Probably more overall, or on pace for way more overall waiver /
Scores.
free agent
Oh.
activity. So it'll be interesting, right? To see how it ends.
yeah,
Yep.
for sure. All right. I think let's get down to business now, though. Let's kick things off with our data dump.
Ay, 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 ay. Fantasy with the Banta Boys.
So for this segment, we usually just look at a few scoring categories and some outliers and other ones. So since we're also 6 game weeks into the season, we're gonna do a bit of a last 4 game week trends and just kind of see how players are performing, and maybe it'll be part of our data dump moving forward as well. Okay, so looking at key passes, so the highest number of key passes recorded this game week was 6 by 2 players, KDB and Trippier. Then 5 key passes by Jesus, Pascal Gross, and Heung-min Son. And then 4 key passes by Tyler Adams, Richarlison, Maupay, Odegaard, and Trossard. And finally, long list of 3 key passes by Che Adams, Podence, Edward, Christian Eriksen, Morgan Gibbs-White, Harry Kane, Robertson, Salah, and Tielemans. Thoughts, Kyle and Ryan?
Son is back. That's my main thought of everything there. First time since game week 1 that he scored over 7 points. But this is the first week that he put up points without having a goal or an assist. I mean, he has no goals on the season. He only had 1 assist in the first game. So it's good to see Son up there with 5 key passes. That's the main one for me. Richarlison obviously up there as well. 4 key passes and assists. I think overall, I mean, this is probably representative of the opponent, but it's good to see that Spurs attack gelling, I guess. So looking forward to, I mean, as a non-Spurs attack owner, would be good if you could still buy low on them, but looking forward to them just overall banging in goals. I skipped over Kane, sorry, but Kane also had 3, right? So across the front 3, that's 12 key passes?
Yeah,
Which is
good
wild,
shout.
right?
Yeah, why isn't anyone trying to buy Son? low right now. I mean, it's from Alex. I don't know.
I think people are trying to buy Son low. I think there's some.
Hint,
I,
hint.
I think there's some Son plus James Ward-Prowse for trades that were floating around. I think there's a lot of back channel
Wow.
dealing, if I was to believe the tabloids.
Okay. Ryan, anything jump out at you from this one?
I mean, apart from Tyler Adams and Morpay showing up there, why did it? Trippier showing his like defensive status, quality. We haven't seen 6 key passes from a defender since like Trent, right?
And speaking of Trent, he's not even in this.
Yeah, true. But Liverpool just looked bad. Anyway, Cal's point, Spurs linking up, but with Richarlison playing, has me a bit worried for Kulusevski's sharing of minutes going forward. Or any of the front, any of Rich, Son, and Kulu.
Yeah.
I think they could all share at some
Yeah.
point during the season.
Yeah. One thing that I was kind of interested to see was Mr. Che Adams. He's not really known for putting up so many ghost points. Like,
Oh, he's been
he's kind
consistent.
of been killing it recently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Minimum,
It's
7?
kind
or
of
something
annoying.
now?
Yeah. He's been performing quite well, and I think he's in our trend of 4 game week players. I'm not sure. I don't know. I kind of did that really last minute, but yeah, he's one of the players that kind of popped up surprisingly for me. Other than that, I think everyone else is fairly standard. Like a lot of your set piece takers are on there as well. Yeah, I don't know. I guess is KDB the only Man City player as well in that segment?
Yeah, looks so.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
KDB was the only one. I mean, if you were to shift to the 4 game week trend on key passes, the top players, Mohamed Salah at 15, KDB at 13, Gundogan at 11, Tielemans on 11, James Ward-Prowse on 11, Jesus and Pedro Neto on 10, and then Pascal Gross, Martinelli, Odegaard, Robertson, and Trossard on 9. So you get a healthy mix of Arsenal players, City players, a couple Liverpool, but no Trent, as you called out earlier. And then a
that's
couple
crazy.
of Brighton players in Gross and Trossard, along with the set piece maestro and James Ward-Prowse.
Yeah, I mean, Brighton's been playing good football. Ward-Prowse, like you expect that on those top assets from like the top 2-3 teams in the league, or at least where you expect them to finish. It's not surprising, but again, going back to the point of Trent not being there is fucking blowing my mind. Like, what the fuck's going on with Liverpool right now?
He also had like a 5 key pass game, right? So how does he not show up with that?
Yeah, exactly. It's wild, man. All right. I think now we'll move on to shots and how many were on target. So the highest number of shots recorded this game week was 6 by a few players. Solly March with 2 on target, Darwin Nunez with 2 on target, Roca in that Leeds midfield with 3 of his 6 on target, Ryan Sessegnon with 2 of his 6 on target, Ivan Toney with 4 of his 6 on target. Then 5 shots attempted by Morpay or Mopai or whatever, however you want to pronounce that. 1 of his 5 on target. Mitrovic with 3 of his 5 on target. And then 4 shots attempted by KDB with 0 on target. Doucouré from Palace with 0 on target. McAllister with 3 of 4 on target. Mateta with 3 of 4 on target. But note that he only played for 62 minutes. And then Saka with 1 of 4 on target. Son with 2 of 4 on target. And that guy Welbs with 2 of his 4 on target. Thoughts, Ryan? And then we'll go to Kyle.
What is Sessegnon and Mark Roca doing there? Like, Roca has like, 2 shots for the entire season or some nonsense?
It was 1.
1 shot for the entire
It was 1. Don't get me started on this guy, man.
Yo, and like, Sessegnon is not an attacker. Come on. No, but he looked insane in that game.
He should have put up more points.
Yeah, he should have at least gotten 20 plus. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Mark Roca had 1 shot, one shot which was on target in the first game of the season at Wolves. or against Wolves, sorry, and then no shots for the last 4 games, and then beast with 6 shots in this game. Like, it's ridiculous. The other one that jumped out to me was obviously Ivan Toney. 4 of 6 on target, and the hat trick is tremendous efficiency, man.
Yep.
Oh, that third goal was so sexy.
Yep, it was.
So good.
Yo, he's like, what,
Yeah.
18 on 18 now for pens?
Oh, he's
Is
fucking
it?
amazing at
Yeah,
pens.
Man,
he's
I didn't
so
even
damn
know.
good at pens.
But he
Yeah,
said
I
in the
can't remember
post game that he's on pens now, right? Is that what he
Free
said?
kicks.
On free kicks, yeah.
Free
on
kicks on pens.
On free kicks, sorry. Yes.
Yeah. He took that free kick like
Yo,
a boss.
he
Reminded
really
me of Didier Drogba, man. If we needed to get a striker, we should have bought Ivan Toney. Anyway, this is not Chelsea podcast, but yeah.
Don't worry, he's coming to United. Don't worry about it.
I mean, in like a season or two, I feel like a lot of the top 6 teams will need a good striker. Right?
I'm convinced that if Ronaldo left, he would have come to United. I feel like that rumor is it's being floated out there a lot, but he was rumored to be unpleasant or whatever, unhappy, sorry, with the Brentford last season.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, there was a
And
spell.
forcing for a move. So I think that United, at least it seems like it is actually like his favorite club. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. I mean, a couple of things that would jump out to me immediately is no Haaland or no Kane on this list.
Haaland doesn't need volume. Kane
Yeah,
also doesn't
true.
really need volume, but yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, that's true.
I mean, if we look,
Son's still trying, but
Yeah.
still feeling.
yeah, I think Son is back though. He has not shown up on this list at all. If we were to look across a long list of the last 4 game weeks, Mitro is up
Yeah.
top, 12 of 20 on target. Haaland,
Yeah.
12 of 18 on target. Kane, sorry, 9 of 17. Martinelli, 6 of 17. Bobby Firmino, 9 of 14. Anthony Gordon, 11 of 14. And he was nowhere to be seen this week now that Mope is in that starting 11, right?
Yeah, that's a good
Um,
point. Yeah.
Solly March, 5 of 13. Gabby Jesus, 4 of 12. That guy got shut down. And then, just the other names, Salah, Tony, KDB, Luis Diaz, Damari Gray, Rodrigo, Son. Son is there, but he only has 4 of 11 on target. So, as I say, you look across this list, if it was to group them, I think the Arsenal attackers have had volume, but not a lot of efficiency. So, that's 10 of 29 on target. Haaland is hyper efficient, 12 of 18.
It's ridiculous.
And what? Yeah, how
And
many
then a
goals in
brace
that
again
12?
today. Yeah.
Yeah,
12.
yeah, right? So in those 12 shots, how many goals is he on? Premier
12
League,
in
10?
all competitions. 10 in Prem.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, exactly. So he's 10 of 12 on target. That's insane, right?
But this is like last 4 game weeks, right? So what? Last 4? How many did he score?
Oh, true.
7?
Ignore the
7, 8?
Yeah,
8.
yeah.
I mean, it's still fucking ridiculous.
Exactly,
so-
right? And then the inefficient Everton, Gordon 11 of 14 and DeMarger 4 of 11. And then the broken Rodrigo, sad 3 of 11. So, I mean, you look across and group them, you see clear patterns on the teams to target for shots and then the teams to target for efficiency, right? So,
Yeah,
there's
I mean,
patterns emerging.
Salah's in this table or whatever, but still so low. And for the past few seasons, he's always been top 2, top 3 player.
Always.
Yeah.
Every single
Fucking
game.
pulling the trigger all the time.
But his role has changed, right? He
Yep.
had 3 of 12 on target, and Luis Diaz 5 of 11. Diaz is getting his shots. Bobby Firmino has been getting shots, and now with Darwin back, and that's true. This would have been games that Darwin wasn't even playing, right? So it would be interesting
Yeah.
to see how that eventual formation change or setup that they were trying to start the season with actually manifests now that he's back.
Yeah, and we saw Klopp also go from 4-3-3 to 4-2-3-1, right?
Man.
So Salah's still kind of staying out wide in that sense.
Those subbings were so bad.
Yeah.
He basically
Twitter
shafted
was
himself.
raging. Everybody was raging, man.
And he did it back-to-back weeks. No.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if there's anything more to really dig into. my guess was like people are trying to play like chess moves when there was 3 subs, and there's still technically 3 sub windows, but you can make up to 5 subs, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
as people are, or as managers are trying to get the upper hand coming out of halftime, of course they're saying, hey, give it 10 to 15 minutes, but they're leaning closer to the 10 before making the decision
Correct.
and getting the player warmed up, and then they're just going whenever the ball goes out of play, right? They're not waiting for it to cross the 60. So that is definitely having an impact fantasy wise.
Correct.
Yeah. All right. So next one is accurate crosses into the box. So highest number recorded in this game week was 5 by Kieran Trippier. Then 3 accurate crosses by Emerson Royal and Ayling, but Ayling was only on the pitch for 19 minutes. And then 2 accurate crosses by T-Bebe, who was pulled off before the 60th minute. So very unlucky for managers who did not get that clean sheet from Liverpool. And then 2 accurate crosses by Morgan Gibbs-White, Martinelli, Trossard, and Neco. Kyle, any thoughts? And then Ryan will come to you.
I mean, we talked about Trippier in terms of 6 key passes. Look at it here. 5 crosses as well, right? Like, his attacking output probably puts him into the position of defender 1 over the course of the full season, right? Like, I feel like FPL trends have pointed in that direction. I feel like he was the top player added over this window, and yeah, he looks pristine. Now, of course, he probably does carry some injury risk. He's already been amber flagged, or whatever you want to call, orange flagged this season, where he was tentatively going to be out with a hamstring, I think. So let's see how he holds up over the course of a full season. But honestly, like I'm liking the attacking potential from Newcastle. So I think overall that's just the thing that I am high on, like having Isak there now, and no St. Maximan, no Callum Wilson. Like, it'll be super interesting to see when that team is fully, well, if they ever are fully on the pitch, how they perform from an attacking sense. Super intrigued.
Yeah, I think the only thing to stand out to me was that Emerson Royal is still doing well. Like, can he actually keep Doherty out of that squad? He's been playing all the minutes.
Yeah, he's being rotation proof at this point,
Yeah, exactly.
right?
Like, and if he's not showing anything bad, like, I mean, defensively maybe, but going forward, he's been looking decent. So, is there a reason for Conte to change it?
I hope so.
I know you do.
as an owner, right?
But it's insane.
As a Doherty owner, yeah. I mean, the thing is, I have a potential to get Emerson Royal.
Yeah.
There's a deal that has been made that's sitting in my inbox, let's put it that way. But I'm still skeptical. Like, sure, I get Emerson Royal, but the minute, let's say, he fucks up and then Doherty is dropped, then I've just kind of have a dead spot on my roster. I mean, at the moment, I have a dead spot on my roster anyways, just keeping Doherty with foolish hope. But I don't know.
Yeah, I would have handcuffed that for sure. It's a defender 1, essentially. Like.
Yeah, I guess. Anyways, I think, nothing is too surprising. I mean, Ayling came on, he got his 3 accurate crosses, 3 successful dribbles. He put up, I think 12 points after conceding 2 goals with the assist. That's a lot of ghosties in there, man.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, I think that game overall was wild anyway,
It
right?
was ridiculous.
Yeah.
I think it's one of these things where it's just like, man, imagine that he did that and they lost 5-2, right? Like, it's actually wild.
Yeah. All right. Finally, we kind of like to look at random extra categories. So I'm just gonna rattle off a bunch of things that we came across. So highest number of fouls suffered, Jesus with 8 of them versus Manchester United. Highest number of tackles won, Onana 6. Antonio topped 2 categories. He committed the most fouls and had the most dispossessions with 5 and 6 respectively. I mean, throw in a goal in there as well versus Chelsea. For interceptions, I thought this was a little interesting. So the highest number of interceptions was 5 by Ben Mee and Declan Rice, and then second highest number was 4 with Tarkowski, but also threw in Matthias Jensen, a creative player, which was a little interesting to see. He's kind of now just ticking along in that team with points. I think a few weeks ago we were like, oh, he's gonna be rotated, and even our ITK was like, oh, eventually he's just gonna be rotated. But I don't know, he seems to have nailed like a spot, and especially with that Norgard injury, like a midfield spot is definitely up for grabs. Highest number of successful dribbles. So it was 4 by Bowen. But then the second highest number was 3. There was like a long list, but I picked out 3 players that played under 60 minutes, which was Sinistero, who played 58 minutes, Edozie, which I think is a Manchester City kid. He played 16 minutes.
Well, he's
had
a
3 successful
Southampton kid
dribbles.
that got sold or got bought from City, right?
Ah, okay. And then Ailing, well, again, we talked about him as 90-minute cameo. And then the other thing was the aerials. They were like, I think 5 aerials was the highest number. There were like 7 players with that. But interestingly enough, 3 of those 7 players were from Manchester City: Cancelo, Diaz, and Rodri. And then the one I kind of want to end off with is clearances for this game week, with a high of 18 by Anderson. Fucking insane. Ryan, any thoughts or anything like that? And then Kyle, you can round things off.
Not so much. I mean, I'm liking the look of Onana on his ghosties. Bowen is a bit interesting. Like, is he trying to just do stuff on his own?
He's coming back into a bit of form.
He is. And you would expect what West Ham settle on what their ideal lineup is going to be soon. So we'll see how that impacts him. The aerials is just really weird. I mean,
But it isn't. Yeah, it is weird, but I don't want to say it isn't weird. Like, Villa played really well,
They
right?
did.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Ollie looked great too. His hold-up play was fantastic. So I'm surprised they won that many aerials, actually, because I thought he was winning a lot more balls than they were anyway.
That's fair. Yeah, I think overall it was a good game. Like, I think City won 27 aerials and Villa won 13. So,
okay.
Yeah, there was definitely more. Well, there was more balls probably up for grabs or not up for grabs in their area. The City defenders really put in a lot of work. I think the only other one that, as I looked through, was super interesting was Anderson with clearances. And the question I had, and I didn't catch any of that game, but I mean, it showed up in Trippier's attacking threat. And I know Isak had some attacking ghosties as well. So in the grand scheme of things, I'm just wondering if it was just like the flow of the game, I guess, that contributed towards this. The possession was pretty equal, but shots, Newcastle edge shots overall, corners, they thoroughly outdid Crystal Palace 13-5. But then all the chances were Newcastle. Like, they had 5 big chances that which they missed all 5. They hit the woodwork. They had 20 shots in the box. So yeah, from like the flow of the game, I'm wondering if that's what contributed to Anderson's 18 clearances.
Yeah, I think it kind of goes back to what Sanch kind of pointed out. Oh no, it might have been Newcastle. But ASM's not fit, right? And
yeah,
the core of the squad isn't really there. Like, how they have to play, they probably are just adapting based on what they have available at the moment. But
which is Trippier's cross.
Correct. But what's ridiculous is that Pope was the one that had to put up 9 saves.
Oh yeah.
So that means they actually conceded a lot of chances, but like not from inside the box.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. There was 11 shots outside the box from Crystal Palace.
yeah, it's interesting. Interesting game.
I say it's just so
I didn't
it's
see it
on
either,
paper.
but on paper,
On
yeah.
paper, it just seems like a weird set of stats, right?
Definitely.
Like
Yeah.
entirely skewed in one direction. But whenever Crystal Palace got the ball, they probably broke and just shot it at Pope.
Yep.
Bastards could have scored, man. It was not fun coming up against Pope this game week.
Yeah.
Anyways, speaking of game weeks, I think we can move on to our next segment, league updates. So we're not gonna really talk about our wins or points or standings because a few of us aren't doing too well. Screw you, Ryan. But we'll start with you though. Tell us what was good about your game week, any regrets, and roster concerns, and what FA moves you made that would have addressed them.
The good is Haaland just can't stop. He won't stop. And then I picked up Ryan Sessegnon just because there was so much talk about Perisic being benched. It did come true. I'm actually patiently waiting to see the lineup tomorrow. If Perisic starts tomorrow, I actually think Sessegnon might get the game again. I mean, it is City. So, do I play him even if he starts? I don't know, but we'll see.
Would it surprise you if both of them played?
Yes. Actually, no, that's a fair point. I never really thought about it, but actually, Royal should sit out that one. Anyway, the bad, I was so high on Forest turning up against Bournemouth, maybe keeping a clean sheet. So I played Lodi. That just went bad. I backed 2 Forest defenders in Perfect 11. That went badly.
Hey, you want Hendo back?
But yeah, nothing too bad. I mean, I'm sitting at second in the league, so in terms of roster concerns, I'm holding too many covers. Like I have Stones and Akanji. I had Davinson Sanchez and Longley, and now I've dropped Sanchez for Sessegnon. So I still have 2 Spurs defenders that both might actually just sit out. Longley is not nailed. Sessegnon is not nailed. Akanji's not nailed. I'm just holding too many damn open spots. In terms of...
I love Ryan's... Sorry to interrupt you, but I love Ryan's tactic. Like, as soon as the name pops up, Ryan grabs and just is like, yo, you want this guy? When he did it with Gomez today, he was like, yo, anyone want a Man City defender? Give it like 10 minutes for him to turn around and realize, oh, fuck, he's a midfielder. But yeah, go on.
So I picked up Gay, and I actually dropped him for Sergio Gomez when lineups came out. And then I realized, oh shit, Gomez is a mid. Let me get back Gay, please.
That's our weekly warning that there's no
fantastic.
City assets that are worth picking up at this point,
None.
given that they have misplaced this guy's position, Sergio Gomez.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Yeah.
Cole Palmer, yo, just wait. The one game he gets this season.
Yeah, or who's the backup goalie this year?
Oh, I don't even know.
Is it still
I
not
thought it was
Carson?
still, yeah.
Oh, Carson's still there. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There
I'm
you
sure
go.
he's going to get a game at some point.
Beast. He had the... No, I was going to say, did he have the highest average? But no, they conceded in that game.
Yeah,
that,
they did.
Yeah. Yeah. Not surprising at
Oh,
all.
man.
Yeah, I mean, so what are you gonna do with this whole Stones Akanji thing? Are you just gonna hold them or just?
Yeah, Akanji played today. I'm happy now.
Yeah, true.
He's happy now, and then he'll be sad on Saturday.
That's okay. If Ake plays on Saturday, I'm holding Stones and Akanji. Like, it's cool.
Oh, man.
I mean, my squad came back to life, right? Matip is fit again. Darwin's no longer suspended. So I have flexibility in that sense. I can hold dead weight now.
Yeah. Who do you have in your injury reserve, by the way?
Stones. I swapped out Bruno Guimaraes.
Right.
Who's supposedly
Right.
ready to go again.
Has his green flag changed blue now or something like
Yeah,
that?
it's red. It's just a solid red now.
Yeah. Excellent. All right. Kyle, what's up, man? What's good? Any regrets? Roster concerns? Pickups?
I have no regrets. I never have regrets. Regrets are for
No
losers. Yeah, I'm still bottom of the league. There you go. Still,
Yeah, where's our video, by the way?
well, it's coming. It's coming. We have a long week. A long week before the next game week. I don't need to rush it. I might get a little bit more creative on this one, but I mean, coming out of the last game week, going into Sunday, I was in a resounding lead. I had
33 points.
Yeah, 33 points with 2 players to go. Against 19 points
yeah.
with 4 players to go. I feel like I've been fortunate in terms of what I would classify as strength of schedule. My opponents haven't necessarily been the strongest, but yet my team has continued to disappoint. I had Rice though, like ball out. Like he's been just good eye test wise, and then Fantrax wise. Outside of missing a pen, he's just looked like a baller this season, and I'm surprised. Well, let's see how long West Ham can hold on to him.
I mean, he's basically their best player, right?
No, he is their captain, but at some point, like, was the ambition of the club? It becomes this whole thing with Harry Kane and all these other players, right? Like, are you actually going to stay at this club? I guess Grealish was, more comparable from a mid-table perspective.
Yeah.
We'll see how long he holds out, but you know that Chelsea obviously wants him back, and he came through the academy there, and we'll see how that looks. All his best friends are there, right? So will he be tempted back, or is he a lover scorned who will never ever return? We'll find out in the future, right? So I think that's one of the things. Sounds
like a perfect cliffhanger for like a love series.
Exactly.
No, I know. I mean, you've seen you've seen their bromances when they're England camp.
Mason?
So
Yeah. Mason and him go way back, right?
Yeah, they're best of buds, right? So I think that's the biggest highlight on the team. Honestly, everything else was just the team falling flat. I think the biggest disappointments, though, in myself, because I said I don't have regrets in the squad. I have regrets in my decisions. Picking up Pulisic and Armstrong instead of actually, and I blame Ryan for this. I already blamed him, so I could blame him on the pod. I literally was looking at, after lineups came out, I was looking at my watch list. I'm more organized than Sanjay, who doesn't use queues or watch list or anything.
I have a watch list. I don't have queues.
Yeah, this guy does not believe in planning ahead. But I had my watch list. I was scanning through, and I was deciding, maybe I should double up on Leeds. I was just feeling wild. I was feeling like that's the thing to do. I was going to drop Emmanuel Dennis. I was going to drop, I can't remember who else I was going to drop. I was going to drop somebody else. Oh, I end up dropping I end up picking up Armstrong for Joe Rebo.
Yeah.
And then, because I grabbed Joe Rebo quickly, just as the first move. And then I was assessing, and I was like, oh, I should go Armstrong in attack, because that seemed tempting. And then afterwards, Emmanuel Dennis had to go as well, because he wasn't starting. And I thought, oh, I'll double up on Leeds. And then I got a message saying, oh, go grab Pulisic. These guys sleeping on this lineups. And I went and grabbed Pulisic instead of going for Mark Rocca and Tyler Adams, who in a defeat beasted.
Yeah.
Like, their team got thrashed, but they put up like a haul, man. Like,
Might be.
yeah, it might have been enough to save me, but
Probably.
From the lowest score definitely in the league, it would have been close in terms of my head-to-head.
Right.
But honestly, as I said, I just gave in to the impulses of some other people being in my ear and didn't make the move that I was going to make. So the regret was not following through on my plan and listening to others. So, it is what it is. And then going forward, I think, I got Roca now, and I got the Czech Decore at Crystal Palace, who's a sleepy under the radar pick who might pop up in our picks later on in the show. So those are the two moves that I've made. There was a trade, but we won't bore people on those trades. The trades that I have to do, the obligatory trade that I have to do every time I lose. But I did pull the trigger on one trade, which was Ericsson and Fab for Luka Dean and Christian Romero. So I've already made a move for this game week, and then the only hope that I have for my team is not a concern, but the hope is that my forwards don't keep getting injured. So at this point, I have Martial still out. I have Rodrigo still out. I have Vardy not firing. I have Isak, who's looked good, but I need them all to stay fit. That's my biggest concern, or as I say, hope on the glass half full point of view.
So I've got a couple of things I wanna one mention and then second ask. So the one mention is it's funny that all your steady eddies were the ones that put up the points.
No, I
this
know,
game.
Yeah.
I know. As I said, my running list. That's what my team is converging towards. I just want converge on steady eddies. The team, as I said, a lot of these big names. If you go through all the names, I mean, I traded out Haaland, and he's probably the only one that's actually firing every week. But Virgil van Dijk, Sterling,
yeah,
and now Luka Dean. That's my top 4 picks there, right? And
yeah.
I don't miss any of them. Haaland was the only one, and I can argue outside of Haaland's goals, if he was not putting up any ghosties, I also would be kind of trying to sell high still.
Yep.
So I don't feel bad about any of those players that I traded out. And yeah, the steady eddies have been performing. If you go through the list of people that we've called out, and we actually should write them down, or as I said, label them, like they've all been performing. As I said, the newest addition is Czech Decore. Looking at his stats, and he popped up with tackles 1. Like he's beasting every single game week, no matter who he plays. So I think that's the strategy at this point. Try to converge on some of these players that are going to be, as I said, consistent floor, and maybe have some upside if they have this weird outlier game like Mark Rocca, who put up 6 shots, 3 on target. Very wild.
Yeah, so the question now is, you said you've got like one of your injured players, Martial, you're kind of just sitting, hoping, waiting that he comes back. Now with the new addition of Anthony, Ronaldo staying, Rashford playing up top and thriving, are you not concerned about what Anthony Martial's spot is? And as a Manchester United fan, I feel like you'd have better insight than we would. So, I mean, if you are a manager, which you are, that owns Martial, what are you like advising to even other managers that are holding? Because we got some questions actually, and a few chats. People are talking about, what's the value of Martial moving forward now?
Hard to tell, honestly. Like, I think everything is so new, and honestly, I feel like we talked about this stuff before Ten Hag came out and explicitly said it in the pregame press conference before your last fixture against Arsenal. The reason why Ronaldo wasn't starting, the reason why Casemiro isn't starting, is because they didn't have a preseason. They didn't have time to bed in with his, I don't want to say philosophy, but with his way of playing and his structure. On the flip side, Anthony came from that at Ajax, right? So he could come and he could, outside of fitness and being up to the pace of the Premier League, he could come straight into the 11. I think Martial still had like the benefit, and I would argue he still won the trust of Ten Hag. I'd see the biggest concern is Rashford's form to all of them. Because I think Sancho is nailed, or has looked nailed. He's contributed. Anthony's hit the ground running. Now Rashford is firing and finding form. Like, I don't know how he gets this place from playing that number 9 role, and I think is a good thing to be spoiled for choice in real life more than in fantasy, because in fantasy it's a headache, man. It's too many headaches and you don't want to be stuck with it. So long story short, I'd say you probably have to hold and see what happens. But I feel good as a United fan that we have, as I said, choices.
So on to mine. I've had my 4th loss in a row now, so aiming for my 5th. So if I had to pick some good things though, patience on Morgan Gibbs-White, just because of the eye test and holding the faith that he had 2 tough games in his first 2 real appearances, and he finally came through with an attacking return, few ghost points here and there. He's on set pieces, right? Pascal Gross is so good, man. Honestly, so happy. I think like drafting him, I think maybe what was it, 7th or 8th round? I think I got him. Such good value.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cashing in on Christian Eriksen. Yeah, I had to get rid of one of my mids, man. I had too many to count. So I'm glad that I finally was able to get an attacking return out of him, and yeah, it's sad to see him go because I know his potential. I know how good he can be, but maybe it's just best that I stick to my philosophy of the season, which was to avoid all United players.
You mean you don't
So I
want
don't
Harry
know.
Maguire?
Oh, did you see how bad he was when he came on, by the way?
Yeah.
Oh my god. I know Kyle has like a logical explanation to his stupid ass yellow, but he's so bad.
Yeah, that
So
was
bad.
that was not his fault. He had to take the tactical foul.
Because Casemiro's horrible first touch.
Yeah,
basically
that's
started the
exactly
counter.
it. That was exactly it.
Yeah, that was a terrible first touch. Having like McTominay like nailed in that team right now. It's crazy. Regrets not taking my own advice, especially when it came to Sessegnon. Shouted him as a FA pickup. I think I mentioned him in the chat. And Ryan, obviously, like the smart one that you are, went and grabbed him, and it paid off massively. But yeah, I think another part of my regret was not having good defensive options again going into this game week that I played, right? Two of my defenders put up negative points because they faced each other in a 7-goal thriller. Yeah, it was not a fun watch. Roster concerns. I've got an illegal roster again, and now I need to go through the headache of dropping a potentially good asset. So trying to figure out what to do there, or maybe just do a 2-for-1 trade and see if I can get one good player in my roster, right? I've got a few days left in the week. Maybe I can try and throw some trades out there. And then the waiver pick, which I think I'm really, really happy about and surprised that I got, was Daka for 0 fab. I thought he looked really good in his appearance, I guess. Played the 90 minutes as well. I think Leicester in general just look better in a 2-man system at the moment, especially with Vardy just looking so off the pace. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what they do moving forward. Because even though Kelechi scored, he only basically scored his goal points. That was it. No ghosties behind that. So I'd like to see the combination of Daka Vardy moving forward. But yeah, we'll see what happens with that dreadful fucking team.
So wait, Leicester looking better means they concede 5? Cool. Good to know.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you mean? Of course.
No, yeah, I'm so mad. I thought I bid on Patson and I didn't. So mad.
Yeah. I mean, I could give you Daka for Sessegnon if you want.
I'll think about it. It's not bad.
All right. Yeah, it's not bad. We'll see how lineups come out for Champions League. Anyways, let's round off this half though. I think now what we'll do is grab our halftime pint and we'll see you after the break. And we are back. By the way, Ryan, with your mic setup, you know who you remind me of? The guy from Home Improvement on the other side of the fence.
Oh, yeah. The neighbor. You never see his face?
Yeah, exactly. For a second, I forgot what you looked like.
I was going to say, listeners have no clue what you're talking about. Maybe it's time to put these pods on YouTube or something.
We should.
If only Sancho would upgrade his technology, right?
It's like we should live pod on Twitch, right?
Yeah, I mean, the one of my laptops could do it. Honestly, they probably wouldn't have to hear me. I'd have to figure out some. I mean, we could figure something out for the next time. Actually,
guys,
that's worth a shout.
Buy Sancho a laptop. Like, just hit the link and buy Sancho
and donate now. Yeah, exactly. It's for the brand, man. For the brand. All right. So I've got a few Twitter questions, Discord questions, that sort of shit. I kind of want to discuss with you guys. So I'll read out the questions and get your thoughts on it. So the first one that we have is from Yaoji8. So in our Discord, his name is Matt. So his question is, what do you think of Diego Costa's Fantrax value if he signs for Wolves on a free transfer? And he says, good luck with the podcast, boys. So who posted the link,
I
by
did.
the way? Okay, so then I'll get you to start. How would you answer this question?
Yeah, so I kind of did some research to see how far along the transfer was and if it actually went through. And then I saw that he did not qualify for a work permit, Costa that is, because he did not have enough like international appearances or something, and the FA was just fighting him down. I see that Wolves are appealing the decision. They're hoping to get some kind of decision before their Liverpool game this weekend. But if that doesn't go through, I saw some weird chatter about like
Andy
they were
Carroll.
offered Andy Carroll. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The fuck?
There were a couple of free agents out there, and Andy Carroll was like the one that I guess made the most sense. Or, I mean, I even saw like talk of Sturridge on the list, but yeah, it's definitely Carroll seems like the replacement if Costa isn't coming. But I will still answer the question if, assuming Costa comes. We saw what he did at Chelsea, and he immediately impacted the league from day one. I think he'll fit well in at Wolves. Like, they need that aggressive, like, Jimmy
Focal
kind of
point.
lost that, right? Like, ever since the
Yeah.
injury, he's not being Mitrovic, like, and that's what Costa can do. I mean, I know he's a lot older now, so I don't know if he plays every game, but they need a goal scorer, man. Like, they need something, and it's so unlucky that I don't even know how to pronounce his name, Kolasinac or whatever.
Sasa.
Yeah, there you go. The injury. That's what pretty much this whole season, right?
Yeah, ACL. It's kind of
Jeez.
rough, man. 45 minutes and you're done for the season.
Yeah, that's insane luck.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see Diego Costa come and just fight with people or
Yeah,
punch
exactly.
something. I don't know.
Put some
Just that
passion back
hunger.
into Wolves, yo. Like,
Yeah, exactly. They need a bit of bite. Kyle, as the manager with the most fab in our league, $148. How much of that would you be dropping on Diego Costa?
0. I mean, another Portuguese speaking, even though, I mean, where was he last? Was he in Brazil playing? Like, I feel like
Yes.
he's
At
yeah,
one point, he was in Brazil.
Yeah, that's where he was, right? Like,
Yeah.
I think he got like 5 goals in like 19 games or something.
yeah.
He's still scoring.
Okay, fair. So I guess he's still a goal scorer, but he definitely tailed off on goal scoring in Atletico, right? Like, he wasn't
Yes.
prolific at that point. So I'd be intrigued to see, as I said, Wolves has so many midfielders and so many names on paper that could contribute. Like, it would be interesting to see, to your point, Ryan, an aggressive number 9 up top who can get on the end, not of crosses or passes, but who could torment center backs, right? He could just rile them up for the entire game and bait them into doing dumb things and win set pieces. And I think all the like the what's that foreplay, all the other play, like just the mind games would be very, very interesting to see, right? Like, I think that's what would more excite me, like, about him as a prospect as opposed to him being a valuable asset. Yeah, so how much would I bid? Not actually 0, but I'd put in, I don't know, like 14 or something. I'd put in something small to still go after him, but I wouldn't be going to spend like my full stash on him. I'd just try to strategically outbid the few people who have money left in our league.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I would just love him back in the league, honestly. He's such a talent. Such a talent. Okay, so thank you so much, Matt, for your question. So our next question is from Lou, which is at draftog_ on Twitter. So his message is, boys, what are your thoughts on Harvey Barnes? Do I hold or do I drop? Because he wants to have a free spot in his roster to stream a defender because he has a bunch of like his mid is just basically stacked, right? He's got Bruno, which I'm assuming he means Bruno Fernandes.
There's only
Jack
one real Bruno.
Jack Grealish, Aronson, Morgan Gibbs-White, Pascal Gross, Dwight McNeil, Keenan Dewsbury-Hall. And I think the reason why he's concerned about Harvey Barnes is because people in his league don't really rate Harvey Barnes. So Kyle, what are your thoughts on this, man?
I also do not really rate Harvey Barnes. Actually, no, I kid. I actually do rate Harvey Barnes. I rate the Leicester potential for attacking returns more than their defense. I don't think Ward and Johnny Evans and Didi or Amarte or whoever is playing behind, I don't trust their defense at all. I trust their attack more than their defense. I think that they aren't as spoiled for choice as Lou is in terms of midfield options. So I think Barnes is nailed alongside Tielemans and Madison and Keenan Dewsbury-Hall. And we don't know who's playing up top. So I think the midfield is the most nailed on thing about that entire lineup. And for that reason, I think Barnes would be a hold just in isolation, not taking into context who's in your squad or what your league mates think of the player. So that's just my like high level 10,000 foot view of it. Now, if you look at his list of players, like this person sounds like you, to be fair. I don't know how he even is allowed to have 8 midfielders because Bruno, Grealish, Aronson, Morgan Gibbs-White, Gross, McNeil, Dewsbury-Hall is already 7. So if you add Barnes to that, that's 8. So yeah, if you had to get rid of one of them, I would argue that maybe you should try to trade high on someone else. On that list, I was looking at Aronson and Gibbs-White as possibly ones that if people are higher on, you trade them for a better defender. And then you don't need to stream a defender with that spot, right? Like maybe go target Dalot, Fabian Schär, some of the other defenders that might be overperforming at this point. Like take one of these mids or package 2 of the mids and try to find a premium defender. That would be my approach. Maybe I would actually go like McNeil and I don't know, like Gibbs-White or something, or Aronson, and then try to get a defender.
Yeah, I would target like a Tarkowski kind of, or Ben Mee, that quality of defender.
Yeah, that's a good approach too.
But I do think McNeil is fully droppable. Jeez.
I agree.
Really?
With Mope in, and if Mope is gonna actually contribute, I think he looks like the best of all they've tried. Because they've tried Gordon and Gray. They've tried Gordon and Gray with Rondon through the middle. They've tried with McNeil. Now they tried with Mope. I think that the Mope off the back of that last game, like that setup looks the best. That one seemed to work better than anything else that they've tried this season.
I mean, DCL should be back soon, so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, but don't cross your fingers and toes and wait for this man and hope that he'll be injury free for the rest of the season. Looking at you, Sanji.
No.
Just drop him. Drop him.
No, not at all. Over my dead body. No, though, like McNeil, it surprises me why you guys say like he's droppable though, because I mean his ghost points are still kind of decent, no? Like,
but is he gonna play every game? Like, I mean, that's my concern.
Yeah, he's
right?
not getting the minutes. The minutes is a concern.
That's the problem, I guess. Yeah, but I mean, when he does play, he gets points.
Yeah, but if you have
not really.
Yeah,
like,
but
ghost points, not attacking returns.
Yeah. No, still hasn't been getting the ghosties. Like, I mean, he was dropped in our league, and Ras picked him up for 1 fab. Like, there's no desire from anyone to really get him.
Yeah, that's exactly my point, right? I'm like, if you look at it in isolation, like no context, then I would agree with you, right? You wouldn't want to drop him. But if you have literally 8 midfielders, and maybe that's it. You just maybe don't drop him, but you trade him for somebody, whoever has the best fixture in your eyes from a defensive perspective this week. You just pick up like your streamer or start your streaming from there, right? Like swap McNeil out for something else.
Yeah, fair. All right. Thanks so much, Lou, for your question. We move on to the next one. So this one's from Ollie Cobb. I'm not going to pronounce your last name because I will butcher it. But you guys should know. He's our Brentford correspondent. So his question for the pod is, which players, preferably defenders, from better teams other than Forest, do you think you could get for Nico Williams? As he mentioned, he's enjoying owning Nico, but he doesn't want to get burned in all three leagues where he owns him when they lose 6-0 again. Ryan, thoughts on this?
Yeah, this one is tricky. I mean, we've yet to see Forest put up a clean sheet, or have they put up one? I can't remember. Maybe one. But Nico's doing okay. I wouldn't say he's doing that great. So, I don't know. Someone like Ben Me. Again, I'm kind of going back to Ben Me, but I don't know. It might be too high. Whew.
I have a spicy one.
I have like a Pascal Stroik, which I know he's been smashing it, but I feel like that's a fair trade.
What's the spicy?
Yeah, go for it, Kat.
Lloyd Kelly.
Oh God.
Yo. I'm just loving Lloyd Kelly, man.
Drop a player
Why?
that concedes like 6 to one that was going to concede 7.
Yo, I
And
feel
still
like
put up positive fingers.
he missed that game. He was the omission.
I know.
Like he was the reason why they had to concede so many goals, right? Honestly, the reason why I would say like Kelly or Bournemouth, and obviously two promoted teams, two different situations altogether, even though Nico is being nailed. They signed 22 players. So I don't know how nailed anybody is in that 11. So I mean, I'm glad that as a Forest fan, Ollie is trying to not let his homerism cloud his judgment. But I try to trade him out. And I think Bournemouth, on the flip side of it, as a promoted team who hasn't spent any money on any players, has dependable players that you could hold on to. I think Lloyd Kelly has looked interesting, and he's put up ghosties in literally every single game. Even the games where they concede 3 or 4 goals, he's still positive, if not -2, which is nothing in the grand scheme of things. Stroik, as an example, has definitely put up just about the same negatives, like conceding a lot of goals as well. So I think Lloyd Kelly is interesting to me. And the other thing contextually that attracts me to Bournemouth is that they had a lot of hard games at the beginning, right? So their fixture run arguably should turn, and maybe their defense isn't as bad, and it normalizes over the course of the next 10 games or whatever the case may be. So that's my thought on it, at least.
Yeah, so Bournemouth have got Brighton at home, Newcastle away, Brentford at home, Leicester at home, Fulham away, Southampton at home. Yeah.
Forest have decent fixtures too, though.
Yeah.
I would say he could probably even wait. Let's see if Nico does more. He got the assist last game, and then his sell maybe even higher.
Yeah.
I mean, Forest has Leeds away, Fulham at home, Leicester away, Aston Villa at home, Wolves away, Brighton away. It's pretty much the same
It's pretty
thing,
much the
just
same.
scrambled up. Yeah, differently.
Yeah, I mean, his question technically, if we were to not just pick our favorite player, was which defender from a top team, right? So if we were to pick a top team, I'm going top down on this question now. Who do we classify as top teams right now in the league from
I
a
would say
defensive standpoint?
Brighton.
Yeah.
Well, they haven't been showing it recently, but I think the trade-off will be kind of like a ghosty type player like Nico that you could trade for someone like Dunk or Webster, who don't get the ghosties, but they're probably much more consistent on the clean sheet.
Yeah.
So it's
I was
kinda
going to
what
say,
you
if you
want.
go Brighton, do you risk and go for Estupinian?
Oh, I think you'd have to add some fab to that.
Yeah.
because of that one. But I mean, he's only just started, so you can't say there's rotation. Like, it's a small data set for him.
Oh no, yeah. I think he's the better player for sure. That's the opinion.
What if you go to the Chilwell owner and pitch that right now?
No way.
Is that too much?
After his cameo, I mean, I don't know if that Chilwell owner is probably emotionally holding on and obviously going to start him in the next game, right?
Yeah, for sure. You got to do it to like, you have to, if you're doing that, Doherty is not a bad shout. Like, reach before they come in, kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, if it was a run through your list, who else is a top like team at this point? Newcastle?
Yeah, but no way are you going to get Trippier or Shaw.
Or Target.
Could you get
You might get a
yeah, I was gonna say, could you get Dan Burn? Or like you wouldn't
Dan Burn isn't even playing though.
Yeah.
Right?
He lost his
You might get a
spot, right?
Botman.
Botman?
Yeah. Oh, what if you go Anderson from Crystal Palace?
That's not bad. He's good.
Why would the Anderson owner do that?
I mean, yeah, he's, I guess, good on ghosties and yeah, true.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think these are all fair questions, right? Like, I mean, we just literally approach it top down and bottom up, right? I think there's a lot of options for players to go after. Yeah, I think this is one of these things where you might want to pull on, I don't want to say, knowing who your teammates favor and then trying to play the emotions, I guess.
Agreed.
Yeah, true. All right, let's go on to the final question. So this one is from Julio Jaramillo. I'm pretty sure I butchered that. I don't know why I read it like that. I did Spanish a long time ago, and that's how I read it in my head. But his handle is @JMoneyTaco. And his question is, with all the rotation up top for Liverpool, who do you think performs better, Auba or Nunez? So there's no time frame. I mean, we can throw our own time frame on it if we want. And I guess this is considering, you know, Jota is slowly coming back into the team as well. I mean, with Auba there, obviously, like, does Mount rotate for a spot there? Does Pulisic rotate for a spot there, right? And we know Auba's history, right? The good and the bad. So, Kyle, if you had to make a prediction? What's up, Ryan?
Can I go first? So
Yeah,
I'm
for
a
sure.
Darwin owner, right? So
Yeah, you should go.
I'm gonna say, like, Bobby's on form, Jota's coming back. Like you're saying, there's rotation risk, and we can put time frames on it. So let's think like 5 weeks out, 10 weeks out, and whole season, right? Darwin wins. Full stop. Done. All right. All the fares, everything. I think Darwin wins this hands down. It's not even close. Like, he's on his data dump for 6 shots in his first game back out. It's just a matter of time till Pool are able to like play that system, whatever they're trying. So yeah, for me it's Darwin without a question.
Kyle?
I want to take the other side. I go in Auba. I feel like we talked about this at the top. But Chelsea having a target man will be interesting. It'll be boom or bust. But I think that in terms of being able to unlock the creators on this Chelsea squad, I think that Auba is my pick. Like, I don't know what's going on with Liverpool, and I don't really want to figure out what's going on with Liverpool, but yeah, I leave Nunez to be with whoever is the owner today, and I'll go Aubameyang.
I mean, I watched the Champions League game today, and I mean, I know we lost 1-0 to Dinamo Zagreb, but in that first 10 to 15 minutes, I thought the front three combined really, really well, actually. I mean, the stats might not show it because Auba got into situations where he should have shot on goal, but I think he tried to lay it off his teammates instead. And maybe that's just, you know, trying to bed into the team, get your confidence back in a new system, that sort of thing. But I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if Auba looked a little better in terms of ghosties, right? Who's to say? Because his time at Arsenal was a very toxic one as well, right? So I don't know if that also plays into his output and his points and all that sort of stuff. But Darwin looked good against Everton as well, right? A bit
8.5,
unlucky
I think.
maybe to... Pardon?
Put up 8.5, which I don't think Auba does that in his like random blanking game where he doesn't get a return.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's an interesting debate. But I think I might go with Ryan and go on the Nunez thing. Because I still think we have to see the best from him. And right now, Liverpool are a more functioning attack at the moment for like the next 5 to 10 game weeks.
Damn, does that,
Over the rest of the season,
does that hurt you
hard
to
call.
say?
No, because I've openly admitted to not only you guys but other Chelsea fans how trash we are.
That's fair. I mean, I've known this for ever.
As long as you've known me.
There you go.
All right, awesome. So thanks so much everyone for the questions. Really appreciate it. Now we'll go into our final segment, the FA/Waiver Picks. So for this segment, we usually look at picks under 50% owned because we think you have an easy chance of grabbing them in your leagues. So what I'll do is I don't even know who filled out which side of this. Like,
I did away. Kyle did home.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll just do that then. So yeah. I'll run through the fixtures and I'll jump in with any comments afterwards. So first game, Fulham versus Chelsea.
For Fulham, I feel like we are beating the same old drum. The best options under 50% remain the wingbacks. Robinson got injured in last game and Mbabu came on, right? And he went over to fill in. I don't know if Kurzawa was on the bench. I didn't check. But it'd be interesting to see who gets his start if Robinson isn't able to go. But whoever of the two, that would be the option. And then on the right-hand side, Tete has retained his spot. So from the Fulham perspective, it's still a good shout to target their wingbacks. I think up top, we were intrigued to see what happens with Willian and Dan James and Bobby De Cordova Reed. They have Niskins Cabano. They have all these options playing out wide as creators, playing through the middle and out wide as creators from Mitrovic. But I think the one thing that we could probably say is nailed is the wingbacks. Some combination of the four, and it seems that Marco Silva is going with the nailed two every single time and not rotating. So those are my big shouts. Tete probably would be first. He's at 18%, and then Mbabu and Kurzawa are both at 3% owned. So that's where I would look for value.
How do you feel about Bernd Leno as an asset right now?
I don't hate it. I looked at the goalies just overall earlier today, and he's doing up well. There. Yeah, he was up there in terms of saves and save percentage. So in the grand scheme of things, I don't hate it. Of course, he didn't play the first couple of games as well, right? So he's now settling in as a full-time fixture in this team. So yeah, he's already up to 19 saves in 4 games. So he played 2 less games than everyone else, and he's top 7 in that aspect. And then in save percentage, he's also top 6 or top 7, top 6 at 73.1%. So I think overall it's not like a bad shout. I think that they've also had some decently hard fixtures to start the season. So outside of the Chelsea game, he should get a good run. So after the Chelsea game, he has at Nottingham Forest, and then Newcastle at home, at West Ham, Bournemouth, Aston Villa, at Leeds. So yeah, I think he could be one to target, and Leno is still only at 11% rostered. So if you're used to streaming a goalie, like maybe you could look at Leno or add him to your rotation.
Yeah, Chelsea's an easy fixture. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
I was being respectful, man. I mean, it's a London derby. These are probably. I mean, I actually don't even know mathematically if they're the closest teams to each other, but
right down the road.
Yeah, they are literally right down the road. You could walk from one stadium to the other.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a derby, and derby days are always crazy days, right? So
Correct.
from that perspective, I wouldn't necessarily want to target like a Fulham asset. Like I wouldn't want to have the goalie, but I mean the wingbacks might be a better shout, right?
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Right.
So I don't know. I'm a bit higher on Chelsea than you are. Obviously, I'm not a fan, so I do think they turn their season around. I think Fofana coming in will help. I think I don't know how much minutes Zakaria is going to get, but just Chelsea need the midfield support. They can't keep relying on Conte. So I want to plug Loftus-Cheek. He's no longer playing in Reese's spot, but he's still getting minutes. And he's only 27% owned. We haven't seen too much from him so far this season. Like in terms of key passes or anything really, but we've seen what he can do in the past, so I still think he's possibly able to deliver if he keeps his spot. And then Kovacic is still only 39% owned. Again, we haven't seen much from him so far for the season, but we haven't seen much from Chelsea altogether. So if they do turn it around, I expect both of those guys to have an uptick in points. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, so if you look at Ruben's points recently, I think since he switched back into the middle, his Fantrax points have actually been
dropped.
shit.
Yeah, they've dropped.
Yeah, real shit.
So I convinced myself by going back to last season, and then when he got a run out, he was putting up like steady Eddie-ish kind of points. But I mean, it wasn't a long spell he had. So
yeah. I do love that Kova shout. Because I think right now you might not get 90 minutes out of him because he's coming back from an injury and all that, right? So even for like the Champions League game, he only played 59 minutes today, right? But in those 59 minutes, he had a key pass, he had 3 successful dribbles, he won 6 ground duels, he had 1 interception and 1 tackle.
Nice.
That's healthy production, man. That's good production points right there.
Yeah, that's kind
Yeah.
of consistent with what he was doing last season when he was doing well, right?
Yeah.
He would put up like 5 successful dribbles in a game in the middle of the pitch, just eating man one by one with no reason, no pressure on him.
Yep. Yeah, so I do like that cover shot more than Ruben.
That's a swap you made yourself, right? From Ruben to Kova.
Yeah. And this is just going off of eye test, and I saw like also it's because Ruben had like ice strapped to his knee or leg or whatever.
Yeah.
After that Southampton game, so I was a little concerned, but yeah. All right, let's move on to the next fixture: Bournemouth versus Brighton.
Bournemouth, as much as I in the last segment praised the defense of Lloyd Kelly, he's not my shout for this game. I actually would be going with,
You hypocrite.
I am. I mean, you could pencil him in as third choice, my top or fourth choice. He's off the podium today. I think the top choices for me were Dominic Solanke, Philip Billing, and Marcus Tavernier. Bournemouth, and we've talked about this many weeks, is still entire roster under 50% owned, but now their fixtures have turned, and they got the win against Nottingham Forest. They have Brighton at Newcastle, Brentford, Leicester at Fulham, Southampton coming up. And I think that this could be a good run of fixtures. Like it should be a good test to see if they could get form. I mean, they're unbeaten since losing 9-0. So you could say that it's only up from here. And I think that the attackers, if they stay healthy and are performing, are key to it. Solanke's obviously coming off of a goal in the last game. I mean, as well as Billing. They both had great strikes, of which I saw the Nottingham Forest analysts on Twitter critiquing Nottingham Forest as being like at fault, like defensive lapses for all the goals. But a win is a win, and they had to get into the positions to be able to have those strikes. And I think that they're all shouts for like attacking returns. We talked obviously about Tavernier before having defensive ghosties as well, so that would be interesting to see if, depending on the game script, he needs to put in like a tackle. Like he had 2 tackles, 1 even in the last game. And yeah, Solanke, that's looking for pure like goals, I think. And then Billing, I think, is another one who you're looking for maybe a key pass or 2, and then some shots, and hopefully he could get like attacking returns as well. So I think that I'm high on Bournemouth attackers now, as well as their defense for this run of games.
Yeah, I definitely love the Tavernier shout. Also, I just realized that Marcus is related to James.
He is. He's his
at
brother.
Rangers.
Yeah, is his brother.
I was looking at Tavernier in UCL Fantasy. I was like, this name
Yeah.
looks very familiar.
Yep.
Yeah, I definitely love the Tavernier shows. I think he's the best for ghosties out there. Billing is a little concerning, but like you said, very tough start to the season. So who knows? Because he, I think, would have been like one of their best players from the championship. And you look at previous seasons, Bournemouth has been in the EPL. Billing tends to be like top 3 scoring asset from Bournemouth. So yeah, Solanke and Pens and all kind of jazz. So yeah, good shouts. What about at Brighton, Ryan?
So Brighton started off the season so defensively solid, right? Now they've kind of conceded 2 to Fulham, then conceded 2 to it was Leicester. Yeah, it was Leicester. But their goals have upticked. 5 against Leicester, and they should have had way more, right? I don't know if anything's necessarily changed in terms of Potter's mindset and what he wants the team to do, but I am going to still plug Dunk, the defender. He puts up no ghosties. He's had negative points in the last 2 games, but if Brighton find back the defensive form, why not? And then more from a attacking mindset, Caicedo and Mwepu, 50% own and 9% own respectively. I think Mwepu is going to keep a spot. Like, he looked decent. He got an assist last game. He probably does get pulled off early, so you have to hope he does something. And he doesn't look too good on ghosties, so you have to hope he does something anytime he's on the pitch. But Caicedo is the complete opposite, man. He can put up the ghosties, and he got a goal last game. At 50% own, that's criminal in my opinion. Like, he should definitely be more rostered than that.
Yeah, definitely good shouts. I think as Dunk owner, I might risk dropping him though.
Yeah, that's fair too.
I get the fixture pull, but I feel like he's very CS dependent.
Very. But if he gets it, he gets about 10, right?
Yeah. And I don't know if it's also because of how back 3 formations work. I feel like the central one always gets the least amount of points, right?
Yeah.
If you want to make comparisons, even Dyer at Spurs, who else played the back 3 maybe recently or previous seasons? Cody at Wolves?
Brentford,
Who's that, Janssen?
was it Janssen?
I think it's Janssen. I think Pinnock was on the side with Ayer.
Where's Ayer's on the side too. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, there's a pattern, if anything. All right. Next fixture: Leicester versus Aston Villa.
We talked about Leicester a little bit earlier in the pod. At this point, I think the best under the radar pick, might not be under the radar for some, is Patson Daka off the back of his tremendous performance in a terrible defeat. I mean, he had 3 shots, 2 on target, a goal. He had 1 goal, right, and 1 assist.
Yeah, 1 goal, 1 assist.
Yeah,
I mean, they only scored 2 goals.
Yeah,
so.
I was gonna say, they only scored 2 goals, and yeah, Kelechi got the other one, right? So, yeah, I think he's the best under the radar shout. Like, they should to your point at the beginning, a pod Sanji, like they should stick to a top two. They should probably try it with Daka and Vardy and see how that goes. But in reality, as I said, they're always gonna need in this current iteration of Leicester to score more goals than they concede. So with a defense that is terrible, maybe we do see more games like this that are really open and high scoring, and maybe they don't end up with like 9-0 defeats, but 5-2s and 6-2s against mid-table teams are probably just as bad as losing 9-0 against City or Liverpool, right? So I think Daka would be the best shout from my end.
Yeah, fair. At Aston Villa, I mean, I know we've said it before. There's pretty much no one worth grabbing. They just haven't been looking good, but they put up a solid performance last game week, pulling off the draw against City. I have still no one to plug, but Leander Dendoncker has still to get his debut. He was ill, I believe, last game week. And, I mean, I've always liked him at Wolves. I think, first game week of the season, I think he put up, 16 in terms of ghosties? And I've seen that from him in seasons past, but he never got consistently enough minutes at Wolves. If he does break into this Aston Villa squad, I wouldn't be against holding, hoping to see some kind of similar kind of production to like that game week one total, of 16 or some kind of double-digit return.
I guess my question would be, who would he displace in the Villa starting 11?
I think Douglas Luiz is droppable, but yeah, I get your concern. I don't know.
I mean, they put up such a stink to keep him from going to Arsenal, right? So
Yeah,
you'd assume
they did.
if they didn't let him go, they plan to play him. And I thought the Dendoncker signing was cover in case he went, right?
True. What about Kamara? Do you think Kamara's droppable?
That's a good show. I feel like he's had a good start to the season.
He
I know
did.
Ras really likes him, but he's done nothing in Fantrax, right?
Yeah.
I mean, neither has John McGinn, and he's a player that has been a very consistent points output machine
Yeah, if you
over the
think-
past 3 seasons.
If you think Steady Eddie, I would have thought McGinn for sure. Like,
Yeah.
he was that 10-pointer every game week.
Yeah. It might just be depth, man.
I think he gets playing time though. But yeah, other than that, that's a real outside shout. Wait on the team sheet, obviously, but
Yeah. I mean, if I had to give another outside shot, but it depends on whether he gets consistent minutes, is Callum Chambers, but he didn't play versus Man City, so maybe not. Maybe not. Okay, cool. Let's move on to... Oh, wait, before we move on, I think maybe Stevie G has kind of saved his job with that 1-1 draw, but if Leicester lose this game, Brendan is surely done, right?
I have no clue. I don't know. At this point, I don't think Brendan wants to be there, but I feel like the club wants to keep him there and torture him.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
everybody thought he was done after the 5, so maybe.
Yeah. All right. Next game, Liverpool versus Wolves.
Like many big teams on most weeks, not really a lot to shout. I think we had Fabio Carvalho before. He's ticked up over 55%, but now he had the dead leg that forced him off at halftime of the last game, the derby. I think under 50% owned, I'd still shout Joe Gomez and Tsimikas. I mean, Tsimikas got the start in the derby and got the haul on 58 minutes as well.
Yeah,
so
so
I
rough.
think you're running the risk with the wing backs and the midfielders. It seems like only the center backs are the ones that are seemingly safe from being hauled on the 58-minute mark. So Joe Gomez would be the number one pick of the bunch. Of course, Matip is back, which makes Ryan happy, but for now, I don't know. Let's see if Gomez keeps his spot. Outside of that, there's the new signings who we haven't seen. So Arthur, who's still only at 13% on, So maybe he ends up being a pick, but for now, I think Joe Gomez would be the place to look if you're looking for entry into the Liverpool team still at this point.
Yeah, I mean, depending on when you get access to this pod or whatever, I just maybe keep an eye on their Champions League fixture and see if Arthur plays. Though I think Thiago trained fully as well, so he might be available as well.
Yeah, they're coming back to fixture, right? Like I think,
Yeah.
in the press conference for Champions League, Klopp said he's ready. For how long, we will see. So Thiago is in the squad. And as Sanjay mentioned, maybe you already know. Maybe you're listening to us from the future. But yeah, I think Gomez. Yeah, I would keep an eye on midfield and also that centre back pairing to see what Klopp goes with.
Yeah. What about at Wolves?
So new boy Mateus Nunes, 45% owned. We've mentioned him before, and he keeps popping up in those spots, right? He finally got a return. What was it? The assist, and he put up more ghosties than he usually would. So he's at least delivering on those positions. And I mean, they have two nail defenders, Johnny and Collins. Collins has been pretty good on the ghosties. Johnny not so much. But Wolves on a whole has just been decent defensively again. I don't know. Jose Sa is up there again, right, for goalkeepers?
That fraud.
Yeah, I know, right?
He is a fraud.
I don't know, what is it? Was that back-to-back clean sheets? So I don't mind the piece of this defense. So yeah, why not? I mean, the next opponent is Liverpool, then City, so you don't have to roster them now, but after that, why not?
Yeah, Sa's not really conceding shots. That defense, to your point, is pretty solid. He's only conceded 17 shots on the season, barely cracking the top 10 in shots.
And yet somehow...
Yeah, and his save percentage is like number 3.
Yeah, but somehow he gets like, I don't know, what is it, high claims or whatever it is that he puts up over 10 each time.
Yeah, he is a fraud.
What's going on with like the whole Semedo Ait Nouri situation?
Yeah,
though?
I didn't
Like,
shout them because of the kind of swapping here and there.
Yeah.
Ait Nouri is
confusing
over
handcuff.
50%, but
Yeah.
Semedo is only like 20-something percent rostered.
Yeah.
And then he went off early in that one game, right?
Yeah, and it wasn't even an injury.
No.
Which is weird.
Yeah, it was weird. It was
Yeah.
59 minutes. That was hurtful for any owner.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, Moutinho is also under 50. He was taking along quite well, but then had his first low-scoring game. But I'm not sure he's rolled out against this high-energy Liverpool team. So
Yeah, and I think there's
who
just
knows?
depth in the squad now that maybe, I don't know what we see. How much is Moutinho going to be used going forward? I don't know.
Yeah.
And again, it was
Right.
to avoid the next two fixtures, so I'm thinking more of a long-term kind of hold.
Yeah. Yeah, fair. All right. Next game, Southampton versus Brentford. What do you have, Pascal?
This is a tricky one. I don't want to recommend Southampton players right now. I don't know why. Like I feel like Ralph is still tinkering, even though I think at the back they're nailed. So my shouts were Bella Kochap and Salisu. I think Bella Kochap, since he came, or since we discovered him against United, well, myself discovered him against United. No, I think he has shot the bed, but he played well, man. Like he played well against United at least. He hasn't played well in terms of putting up Fantrax points. I think that as a talent, as a young player, like I like that. But I think as an asset, maybe Salisu's a better pickup. Like I think he has a higher floor. More seasoned at 23 as opposed to 20 in the league, and I think that there's some upside. So I think in terms of having their nailed backline, that could be a shout. My only thing, and I haven't dug into it, is they signed another center back from France at the deadline, Kaleta Car.
Galatasaray or
Or
Char, whatever,
Char Car. And I don't know if he's gonna come into this starting 11 now, right? So I think that's something that gives me a little bit of pause. If you wanted a higher risk reward pick, though, I think Romain Perrault was gonna be the shout. I know Sanji's an owner, and he's displaced Gineppo, so Gineppo is being punted from my side at least. So I think that Perrault would be like the riskier one. Still working himself back from injury, and he played the last 2 games at least, 72 minutes apiece. So maybe there is some upside there. Got an assist in the first game, didn't get anything against Wolves, but maybe that's the way you go if you want a riskier pick. If not, I think that I'd be intrigued in looking or starring on the watch list one of these center backs. Their fixtures are outside of Brentford, at Aston Villa, home to Everton, and then they have City. So I don't think you need to run out and grab anybody from Southampton immediately, but that's where I would look.
Yeah, fair enough. What about at Brentford?
So Janelt is back in the squad. We know this, and he's done so well since coming back. I went up against him this game week, and I was so happy to see him pulled off at 66 minutes. Like, he just looked like he was ticking along and was about to kind of ruin me. And my matchup was close, so it was worrying. But he gets his ghosties in like so many different ways constantly. This week it was 4 tackles, 1, couple aerials, a dribble here, there. But like, Janelt is such a if you need a man to just fill in your mid, like, I think Janelt is such a good option. And then Johan Wissa came off the bench 2 games now, scored both those games. It's been, I guess, a spot up for grabs in this Brentford team, I think. And he kind of had it, he lost it. I think he could possibly win it back, given his like goal scoring form off the bench, or maybe they keep him as a super sub. But he's only 14% rostered. I know Kyle kind of regretted dropping him that 1 week when he did, but he didn't start. But if he does get his start, I would say he's worth a grab.
Yeah, I wouldn't hold him if
Yeah.
he's not starting. Like,
Agreed.
I rate the super sub tendencies or attributes or whatever, but don't have a spot for that guy if he isn't starting, man.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, I mean, if you play in a league with auto subs, I think it's a sensible grab.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Next fixture: Man City versus Spurs.
City, I think we talked about this player a little bit earlier from a Champions League perspective, but Akanji, I think, is the only asset there somewhat available. Well, it's the only asset that is labeled with the right position that is somewhat available. We will keep railing on Sergio Gomez being labeled as a midfielder, even though he's a left back. Akanji's at 15% owned. We have not seen him in the Premier League at all. City has been chopping and changing at centre back to start the season. And even though it seems like they're coming back to full fitness across the board, as soon as they get one back, they seem like if they're losing one, right? So Ake is back. Stones wasn't available. Laporte is apparently close to coming back. And Akanji started Champions League with Ruben Diaz. So I think that it doesn't hurt if you want to have coverage into the City backline for when he does inevitably get some playing time to go grab Akanji and stash him.
Yeah, so looking at his Champions League debut, he had, with the clean sheet, 3 clearances, 1 interception, 1 tackle, 2 key passes, one aerial duel. Yeah, key passes. Exactly. Yeah, that's it. But still, that's decent.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah.
Makes me happy as a owner. Actually, so for Spurs, I plugged some defenders, right? We've mentioned a lot of them so far. Ryan Sessegnon, 47% own. I would be more keen if I see the lineup tomorrow in Paris Stars Champions League. But again, it's versus City, so not necessarily the best fixture to own him. But I think he's worth stashing if you have a spot on your bench for the games he does get that starts. He was just so productive last game. And then these next two I'm going to plug, probably not. They're fighting for the fourth choice centre back spot. And Spurs play with a back three, so they're not nailed to start. But Longley and Sanchez, 20%, 33% owned respectively. They're probably still behind Romero, Dyer, and Davies, but you never know what kind of thing can happen. If for some reason Davies loses his spot, unlikely, Sanchez doesn't think so. One of these guys should fill it in, and in that sense, I would grab them as soon as. It's embarrassing though. We've just plugged 4 defenders. I own 3 of these guys on my bench, and none of them. These guys are nailed. Not a single one of them.
That's brutal.
It is so bad.
Yeah. I'm not starting any Spurs defense against Haaland and company, man.
Oh, I would play Sessegnon if he starts.
Really? Okay.
He was that
we have
productive, yo.
We have a recording of it, eh?
He was in the box so often.
This is Fulham.
I know, but still.
Okay, so moving on to the Sunday games. Arsenal versus Everton. Who do we have?
For Arsenal, the only shout we have is Sambi Lokonga. If Partey and who's the other guy's name? El Nene. I keep forgetting his name, man. El Nene are still out. I think El Nene is a long-term injury for sure. I don't know the status of Partey, but it seems like if it's indefinite as well, with a groin injury, I don't think these guys get rushed back. I think Sambi Lokonga ends up being the holding midfielder of choice. So I think that he's the only name that's under 50%. I think Arsenal hasn't really been forced to use their depth in their squad until this game against Liverpool against Man United, where Arteta panicked and needed to throw on all his attackers. So it'll be interesting to see how they think about setting up going forward, because I think that the United game was really a test of Arsenal's structure and Arsenal's tactical setup against a real team. I think they had the softest schedule to start the season, and now I think they've been found out. So we'll see if Arteta can adapt and change, or if he's still gonna believe that because it worked 5 times in a row, this is now the Arsenal way.
Cool. You guys want to swap?
Yeah, let's swap. Oh, Russ, if you hear this, please edit this part. We're swapping Google Meet links again.
I mean, he could leave it in and people will laugh at it.
What about at Everton?
So Steady Eddie Iwobi still there, 44%.
Still
owned.
under 50.
Yeah,
That blows my
still.
mind.
And Onana popped up on the data dump with tackles won, I believe. 6 or 5 of them. 14% owned. He'll have a lot of work to do against Arsenal, you'd expect, so where to grab?
Yeah, I like that. How much is Idrissa Gueye? Is he under 50?
He is
right?
definitely. He came on last game, right? And I think he put up 3 points in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I picked him up because of that. I expect him to break into that squad fairly easily. But you never know. But I'm there holding him in case.
Do you have any love for Jordan Pickford?
Oof. I don't know. It seems like he had the game of his life last game. I don't know if he'll keep... I don't know. He's a shot stopper, yes, but not for me.
Yeah, scored 23 points.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
only down from here, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, next game, West Ham versus Newcastle.
West Ham, not a lot of options here that really stood out to me. I think that my favorite shouts, I feel like if you were to actually, this is me sidebarring for a second, if you were to map my picks, it's mostly going to be defensive picks. I wanted to scream like Cornet, but this guy does not play. So
I like that though.
Yeah, I know you
I
do.
can't believe he doesn't play though. Like,
Yeah, that's bewildering to me as well. Maybe that's just a fitness thing, or is like getting into the system or whatever it is. But he isn't getting on the pitch for him to matter. So the only sort of other options are Emerson, who we called out like last week or a week before last week, technically. But he's at 13%, and then Zuma. He was also somewhat interesting to me as being like a nailed asset. Decent fixtures, nothing to really scream home about coming up for West Ham. But I'd say they look better than they looked at the beginning of the season, even though I think the fixtures haven't, or the results, haven't been there for them as they might wish. They're still sitting on, 4 points with 4 defeats in 6 games. So I'm not as high on literally any of the other outlier picks. I know Ryan had a dalliance with Kerr at some point. And I don't think that turned out well. I feel like that guy has negative points in like 3 of the 4 games he played. Yeah, he has minus 0.25 on the season across 4 games. And he had 9.75 points in 1 of the 4 games, which was a 1-0 clean sheet victory. Think about that, right? Like,
that is so
yeah,
sad.
it's very, very sad. This entire lineup, they got a signing in the summer in Eggard. Ben Johnson got injured. Craig Dawson is injured. Yeah, Cresswell is now red flagged. So I don't know what to think about them, but yet I am shouting out Emerson and Zuma as under 50% picks if you really had to go somewhere on this team. But I feel like they're a stay away club for me at this point.
Yeah, I guess it's not a bad fixture for it though. Well,
it's not, right? Like that's a reason that would tempt me, like the fixture. And if you're going into Sunday morning and you somehow gambled and now you actually need to pick up somebody that's gonna play, maybe you go for West Ham. I would assume that you. Yeah, I think off the back of the last Newcastle game, then
exactly.
Yeah, maybe there's a reason that you actually go after it, right? That Newcastle will create a lot of chances, give the defenders a lot of options or a lot of possibilities of getting ghosties.
Yeah,
their clearances,
18.
Yeah, or aerials or
Aerials,
tackles
exactly
or
that.
whatever, right? Like, I think you're going up against a potent attack, which has proven that it could be nullified. So
Yep.
maybe it's not a bad shout for these streaming defenders from West Ham on Sunday morning.
Yeah, good shouts. At Newcastle, really just one I want to plug. Joe Willock, 47% owned. He, like Iwobi, has been putting up like 7 points on average per game. Steady Eddie. Yeah, I don't really see anybody else lowly rostered on their list that I would like to plug. I don't know.
I'm waiting for Elliot Anderson to actually get more than
A cameo,
45
right?
minutes, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is funny because and this is the obligatory shout out to my Dynasty League with way more comprehensive scoring, but he put up a haul in the Dynasty League last week. So we're doing a supplemental draft right now, and I have him on the queue.
Are you drafting every fucking time we record?
I know.
No. It's not like this one is another slow draft, but yes, I am. Don't worry, NFL season starts tomorrow. When this comes out, so all the drafting should be done by then until NBA. So I'll have a month break
Until NBA.
Yeah, I get
My
a month
word.
break, and then I get to do some more drafts. Why do people play fantasy to do drafts, right?
That's definitely why, Kyle. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, come on. You don't need to think about management of all the teams afterwards. Like, what is that?
I mean, speaking of Elliott though, he's had like what 3 appearances, 5 minutes 6 points, 5 minutes 1 point, 19 minutes 3.5 points. So, I mean, other than default scoring, what has he done in your dynasty league that is putting up all these points though?
Man, you asking me to get into like trying to understand like a owner's manual or something, man.
Well, he's doing good.
He had ball recoveries, so he had
Yeah.
3 ball recoveries in the last game. He had a dribble.
Yeah.
He had an accurate cross. So I don't know if this is accurate cross like inclusive of corners. I don't think he would have taken a corner, but he had a cross.
Yeah.
And then we also play with pass completion percentage, which is pretty low for him. You only have 55.6% pass completion percentage. But overall, he ended up with 9 points. So on the team, yeah, Trippier, Schär, Botman, Target all hauled. Joelinton had 12.5, and then Elliot Anderson had 9. So he had more points than Sean Longstaff, Almiron, and the Ryan Fraser, who played 69 minutes. He had more points than Joe Willock, who played 90 minutes. Joe Willock in our Dynasty League scoring only had 1.5 points versus Elliot Anderson had 9 in 19 minutes. So I'd say with different scoring and tweaking for different activities on the pitch, like, yeah, he's putting up a contribution. So yeah, he popped on my radar for that because he didn't pop up in our league when we were doing our screens.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. All right. Next game, Crystal Palace versus Manchester United.
Yeah, Palace. I mean, we don't even need to shout out Anderson again. Like him and his ridiculous clearances. Like, I mean, from game week 1, I was high on this guy against Arsenal, and I think that he's continued to perform in both senses. Like he's shown range in both an attacking and a defensive sense. So I'm high on him as an asset, and he should not be 51% owned. I think that is criminal. And then I think Ryan added him but dropped him at this point. But Mark Gahey, or did you drop him? Did you drop Mark Gahey?
I never grabbed him.
Oh, you didn't add him. You talked about him though earlier, right?
Yeah.
So I think Mark Gahey is another asset that I'd look at potentially adding. I don't think the United fixture is the best, but honestly, United hasn't been scoring a lot of goals. I don't think there's a lot of risk of conceding a lot of goals. Of course, now I have reverse jinxed them and they will score 7. But after that, they have Brighton, I think they have hard fixtures, I would say. So this is the only thing to give caution. They're at Brighton, then they're, hard fixtures on paper because I'll hear that Chelsea is not like a difficult team.
Easy fixture.
Yeah, exactly. I knew you would say that. But I think overall, like, I still like the look of Gahey and Anderson at the back as assets and as ghost machines. I think they're good, if not lucky in the sense of some of the goals they concede. I'm like, man, I don't think you should have conceded that, but such is life. I think the attacking rotation is somewhat interesting, but I don't really like Ayew that much. It's an Edward I was high on, and then he got benched. So I don't like the Edward Mateta rotation risk. I don't think it's worth it, but
yeah, it's weird because they're not doing like 90 minutes each.
Yeah,
they're doing like 30, 60.
Yeah, it's weird.
40.
Yeah,
it's weird.
It's very weird. So I want to stay away from all the rest of this like uncertainty. And as I say, if I was actually looking at anybody, I would just say, just get Anderson. Half of you out there, he's available in your league, so go grab him.
Your boy Ducory that you grabbed is only 9% owned as well.
Yeah, I mean, I want to keep him under the radar a little bit more. I mean, I grabbed him already, so it doesn't matter. Luckily, I got a trade done before the pot started, and I was able to grab him. But yeah, I think he's the new entry into the Steady Eddie list. He looks really good. He's putting up a lot of defensive actions. Yeah, somebody that I'd call out as one for people to add to the watch list, if not grab.
Yeah, fair. What about at Manchester United?
So, of course, United pick up form, and there's not a single player worth mentioning below 50% roster. I mean, the only actual starter right now is McTominay, who's, I think, only 10% owned, but no one else to mention. And I wouldn't even grab McTominay.
So, quick question, Kyle. People would have dropped certain amounts of fab on Casemiro. Are you just holding the faith and keeping?
Yeah, I think Casemiro. I mean, his transfer got done before the deadline, which was a good thing. And he's played off the bench now in every game since he's been at United. So he came in obviously off the back of a preseason. He came in off the back of, I guess, playing. Oh no, the league technically didn't start in Spain, so I don't think he played a league game this season for Real Madrid. But Ten Hag has clearly been on it about getting people embedded in the system that he wants to play. My guess is that he could get the start against Palace. I think that now that the fixture run has cleared up and they have a full week of training, I would not be surprised if he does get the start on this weekend at Palace. So I hope that Casemiro owners that did spend fab on him did hold the faith. And I would expect that it will start to be rewarded soon.
So, I mean, the signs are promising, right? Because he got 2 9-minute cameos and put up like 4 minutes in both.
Yeah.
A 30-minute cameo, he put up 3 minutes. So, like,
3 points, 4 points, 3 points. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's okay. We've had 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, but definitely there is promise. I just asked it because there was like a negative 36.8% change in ownership on him.
Wow.
So
I think this
feel like
is
people are
not. Yeah, whatever. We
accurate.
could get into the semantics of how they do their stupid percentages, but
Yeah, it's silly.
it's like this is minus from 100%. So
Pretty
if
much.
it's so weird. I don't know, man.
Okay. Final game, Leeds versus Nottingham Forest. I believe this is a Monday fixture. So who do we have from Leeds?
2 new entries for the Steady Eddie club. I don't trust them at all right now, though. So that's my caution or disclaimer before recommending them. But Tyler Adams and Mark Roca in midfield for Leeds. Just the way Jesse Marsh's system is set up, I know that we've had long conversations on this pod about Aronson and could he actually contribute outside of goal involvements? Will he put up ghosties, and how much of it was like positioning and system and the works? I think up front, like he's being the most volatile. I think Harrison has been pretty consistent, and Rodrigo, when he was fit, was consistent. And in midfield, Adams and Roca have been like remarkably consistent. I'm still upset I didn't grab them both in the last game. They would have hauled me like 32.5 points together. And of course, it was a little bit of an anomaly. Roca having 6 shots, 3 on target. Tyler Adams having 4 key passes, 4 tackles, 1. It's kind of wild to see this boost in production or increase in output rather for this one game. But we talked about a little bit earlier being a part of the just overall game script against Brentford. Very, very open game. 7 goals. So I would imagine that they will regress. They will not be at 32 combined points between the two of them every single week. But if, as I say, one of them, I would expect one of them on average to be putting, or one of them per game week to be putting up 7 points. So they look like a really solid center mid pairing.
Yeah, we talked about how well they kind of fit into the system like episodes ago, so it's good to see how the points are also reflective of that. What about Luke Ayling at 2% owned? Do you think that's just a flash in the pan appearance? You don't expect that sort of output moving forward? Because I mean, last season, obviously in the terrible Bielsa burn down, he was averaging 3.9 points per game, but then in the good Bielsa season, he averaged 7.3 points per game.
Yeah, I want to say want to wait and see. They're coming back to full health. Liam Cooper's back as well.
Mm-hmm.
So honestly, I don't know how Marsh is gonna set up if he has everybody healthy, right? Like Firpo is arguably on his way back as well. So
Oh god.
I know, right? Like he doesn't instill a lot of confidence, but if he has all his defenders back, if this entire squad is essentially healthy, outside of Stuart Dallas, who is probably going to be back at the end of the year, it'd be interesting to see how they actually set up as the first choice 11, right? So Ayling, for that reason, I'm not necessarily running out on grab, even though I know someone in our league did. I'd be cautious on Ayling. I'd be cautious on Cooper. Honestly, that's part of the reason why let me not even... I would want to even get rid of Strike at this point, even though I think that he's being nailed. I think that there could be rotation risk in this Leeds backline, right?
Yeah. And finally, Nottingham Forest.
One guy. Record signing. MGW. Machine gun. No.
Welly.
Morgan Gibbs White. Finally got a return. Finally, like you said, Sanjay had a productive game where he got 3 key passes in, hopefully it's just he keeps that ticking from here, because the ghosties were not there before, really. He should get consistent minutes, you would think, despite the 20-something signings. But yeah, I mean, he's the only one under 50% own who really excites me. There are a bunch of defenders that may get you some kind of ghost points, like we've seen Steve Cook do, but I don't even know which one starts in a given game week. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah, last 4 game weeks, I think Gibbs White has played 265 minutes. I think 6th best for minutes. So yeah, I mean, I think he's nailed. I think it's a good shout, and he has that route to go-sees with the corners. So yeah, true. I mean, I'm an owner, so I might be a bit biased. Anyways, yep, that's it. That's another 2 hours in the bank. Boys, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Kyle, I hope that security guard didn't harass you too much.
Nah, I made a new friend.
But yeah, do you boys have any pieces of advice or anything moving forward? Now we're kind of in the thick of the season, right, with Champions League and cup games and everything leading up to that fucking World Cup. Do you have anything to say?
Spend money more wisely, guys. Come on.
It's a little bit too late for that.
I know, but the window's done. So don't go out and spend it like crazy now.
Yo, everybody thought that they were Nottingham Forest, man, or Mr. Todd Bowley.
I guess.
They're just splashing the cash. They're Barcelona, splashing cash that they don't have. Honestly, I mean, for listeners, there is a message early this morning, the first one in our group chat, which was a plea to the commissioner to do some stimulus.
Yeah, some quantitative easing.
And people wanted to see some quantitative easing. They wanted Jay Powell to turn on the money printers. So, I mean, this just goes to show how planning is essential. And some people fail to plan. So, yeah, we'll see how this plays out for them over the course of the full season.
Yeah. Money's very important towards the end of the season, man. Honestly, every dollar counts.
Yeah, I mean, we're through essentially the first 20% of the season, first fifth.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it goes for the next 80% of the season. So people that are like top of leagues, don't rest on your laurels. It could all turn very quickly. Like Sanji, you could go on a 4-game losing streak.
Oh, that's a lovely way to end this podcast.
I know, right? So
God
good.
damn.
I mean, that's a dose of reality, right?
I find it hilarious. The guy who says some people plan to fail to plan is the one who's at the bottom of the table. Though.
Hey, don't worry. Judge me at the end of the season. That's all I ask. Judge me at the end of the season.
Yeah, when he's still bottom.
And one win out of 8th place. One win out of 8th place.
We'll see you on the next episode then. Until then, peace.